Basically, to those of you who don't know who Brendan Brandon was, back in, I believe it was 96 or was it 99? He
Very nice.
basically, yeah, he basically murdered, what was it, 3 people? Basically, he
There's
murdered a
two.
2. I swear they
Yep.
killed the kid as well, right? I could be
No,
wrong,
I believe it was
but
two.
yeah. So basically, him and his buddy basically murdered 2 people, or a family, essentially, right? So his buddy shot one of them, and then they locked him in a trunk, poured lighter fluid on them, and then lit them on fire, killed them. And so very recently, he was finally the death penalty was given. He was in prison for quite a while, waiting for that, and that's that. So a lot of people, including the media, was basically saying, "Oh, he was a great person," and "Oh, this is wrong. You shouldn't kill him," and all that jazz.
Also, everyone else in the case did not get the death penalty, but he did,
Interesting.
which is why I think people are protesting mostly.
Not from what I've seen. From what I've seen, actually, is quite a lot of media personalities who are basically going on Twitter and shit, and basically saying how good of a person Brendan Bernard was. And to that, I think that's pretty fucked up and stupid of them, because
The man was
basically
okay. Go on. Yeah,
they like have no idea about the case, you know?
yeah,
Like they're
that
just
is true.
saying, "Oh, shame, oh, he was such a good person."
I think,
No.
but it should also be said that he did have 20 years in prison,
Yeah,
and then in those 20 years, he had an impeccable record of good behavior.
could be.
I don't think the death penalty was the definite option. Like, not, I think in the case, the prosecutors and the defenders, no one was asking for the death penalty, but the judge gave the death penalty as a sentence.
Interesting. So how do you feel about like the death penalty around that, or death penalty in general? Just good.
I think it's a bad idea overall because there's just going to be cases where you kill the innocent man. There's actually been a lot of cases where an innocent person has been exonerated after they're killed.
Interesting.
I would have to disagree with that. I think the death penalty should stay around, and there's it needs to be around. You can't just let everyone rot in prison for the rest of their lives. Um, a lot of times I feel like the death penalty is very important. Because you got these people who are mentally ill, and it doesn't matter what you do,
You know,
they won't change no
if
matter what.
if the death penalty got it right 100% of the time, I'd support it, but it doesn't. It really does not get justice done because sometimes it gets the wrong person.
Do you happen to know
Well,
the actual amount of innocent people? Or so David's saying that around 4% are found innocent after they're killed.
and that is a pretty small number, but that's
What do
still
you mean a pretty
people.
small number? That is a
Well,
huge.
it's
If you bring like 1 billion people, and then you say 4% of 1 billion people, it's still like a lot of millions of people.
What I would
Yeah, but it's not a billion, Biscuit. It's probably more like around a couple hundred. I mean, if you let
A
me
couple
finish,
thousand.
I would have said that it's a very small percentage of people, but it's still bad.
Mhm.
And this isn't this the media a lot of times likes to play games and likes to say certain things. I'm sure more details will come out within the months. The same thing with the George Floyd case that happened.
No more details will come out.
Certainly.
Actually, this case took place 20 years ago.
Yes, there will. They said George Floyd died from pressure on his neck, but when it came out that he actually died from
But
fentanyl,
the,
Biscuit,
the
so
Bernard case,
that's not true.
the Bernard case took place 20 years ago. It took 20 years for him to get brought down in death row and killed. So
Yeah.
no more details are coming out.
Correct, but I'm sure they're going to do a re-investigation on this completely if enough people protest and do everything they can, and they could find more evidence to because right now what I'm looking at is basically him and 4 friends took 2 people at gunpoint, put them in the back of a car, drove them around for hours, threatened their lives, threatened to kill them, threatened to murder them brutally, shot them, Then Brandon lit the car on fire with them in it. Um, you got what a lot of people got to think about too is you got family members. These people were with other families. How do you
There's
think that
also there's
you can't
also
have
families.
open
Oh,
casket? You got to think about that too.
there's also families where the family member is wrongly incarcerated. You know,
Well, yes, but
Sure. So
that's going to happen no matter what you do, Biscuit. It doesn't matter what happens. You're always going to have the wrong person getting incriminated. It
if you're
doesn't
always
matter if
going
you
to have the
have
wrong
a
person
10 out of
incriminated, why are
10
you
system.
incriminating them?
Well, Biscuit, it doesn't matter what you do. You're always going to have that one person who gets wrongly incriminated. It doesn't matter what you do.
In this case, it's not that one person, but it's hundreds, potentially thousands.
I can agree that in certain cases it could be wrong to use death penalty, and that it should only be used in serious and extreme cases, such as even this one. Because when you really look at it, what he did and those around him did was not okay. Now, I agree that he definitely should have gotten the death penalty. I don't agree that the other three shouldn't have gotten the death penalty. I definitely think that all four of them should have gotten the death penalty. When you're committing such an egregious crime to where you are fully aware that at a point in time you're basically torturing people to death, you definitely deserve to be put down like that.
I agree.
100%.
I agree as well. I just did a paper on this. I
Yeah.
agree.
Now,
I think the question was, do you agree the death penalty should be implemented with this case?
yes.
But I think it seems unfair that only he got it, and even everyone else who was involved did not.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely
agree with that
believe
too.
that all of them should have gotten the death penalty.
So if everyone didn't get it, one person shouldn't have gotten it.
No. No. So, I believe that all of them should have gotten the death penalty. It's unfair that the other three didn't get it, but it is completely fair that he, at the very least, got it.